Lamar Jackson is back. He practiced in full today, and John Harbaugh said he is very optimistic that Lamar will be out there Sunday. We also hear Kyle Van Noy admit that John Harbaugh has taken on a larger role in the offense. Derrick Henry wins AFC Offensive Player of the Week. We get some Steeler injury updates, including TJ Watt, and we hear from Kyle Hamilton and Mark Andrews on Lamar being back and the Steelers-Ravens showdown this Sunday night for the AFC North. All that and more in this episode of the Flock Rundown.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's to everybody. We got the best way to end the new year, and that is Lamar Jackson returning to practice on a Wednesday, getting in a full practice, and he looked good out there. From the portion that was able to be filmed, he was running around out there, catching passes. He looked like he was in good spirits. He does have a flak jacket on, or some kind of custom back plate, which is obviously to protect him from that back contusion that he suffered, but he was moving around well. John Harbaugh spoke to the media. He said that Lamar was a full participant and that he is very optimistic he will go on Sunday.
He was full participation, looked good. I can't speak for Lamar or anybody, but he looked good, you know, and I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic, and we'll see how it plays out the rest of the week.
We really can't get much better news than Lamar Jackson getting in a full session on a Wednesday. As long as there's no setbacks, Lamar's out there on Sunday night, and it is a absolute showdown this Sunday night versus Steelers. Win or go home for the AFC North. I cannot wait for this game. I'm so happy that the Ravens even have a chance to get in the playoffs right now and control their own destiny, especially with Lamar Jackson being back, man. Let's go.
I don't think it's ever a matter of does he want to. I think it's just a matter of, like, is he physically, like, able to do so. And that goes with any of our, most important players. If somebody's got some lingering and, may not be able to come to practice or something like that, people are asking about it. It's not just a Lamar thing, but, I've been around this dude for the past 4 years, and I know what he's about, and I know that he practices what he preaches, and if he's able to go out there and play and practice, he will do so. And, he's a warrior, and I respect him and respect who he is as a person and as a player. And, but yeah, I mean, he's two-time MVP, face of the franchise. People are probably going to talk a little bit, but it's not with any negative connotation attached to it.
Well, Lamar is like he's a polarizing person. He's been that since college, Heisman days. And you got to give a lot of credit to him and what he's been through, all throughout his career, and the type of scrutiny that he's faced and to be able to be where he's at. And, obviously this year, hasn't been, the way he's drawn it up, but he's a fighter, and he's going to continue to fight for this organization. And everybody in this organization has trust in Lamar, man. He's one of one. He's incredible. And I'm excited to take the field with him this week because, that's our guy, and, he knows the type of opportunity that we have, and we're going to fight our butts off.
There was 3 guys that were not at practice today, and that is Kyle Van Noy, Rashad Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins, but it is only Wednesday. It's early in the week. They're getting some rest days, dealing with some things, but I don't think that anybody is going to miss this game on Sunday night. And speaking of Kyle Van Noy, he was on the Kay Adams show yesterday. Great conversation, by the way. I suggest that you go watch that entire video, but he was asked about this play call sheet, John Harbaugh holding the play call sheet. John Harbaugh was asked about it, and he downplayed it, said that he always has a play call sheet. That's the sheet that he always has, but it's usually not out like that, at least TV's not catching it, and it's kind of buzzing around right now. People are like, why does he have a play call sheet in his hand? Well, Kyle Van Noy did admit that this is a new change and that he's happy Harbaugh's taking on a larger role.
I'm not sidestepping, but for me personally, I haven't ever, Harbaugh's came and talked to me during the game on the timeout, but it hasn't been with the play sheet. So, I think it was awesome that he's more involved. Not sure. My communication has been without the play sheet, though. How about that sidestep? That was pretty good.
No, that wasn't. That was you saying, yeah, it seems new.
He definitely didn't want to fully elaborate on this situation, but he definitely said enough. You know, Kyle Van Noy said Harbaugh's came up to him many times and he's never had a play call sheet, and he's happy he's taking on a larger role. So Harbaugh has implanted himself into communication with Monken, at least. That's all we really know. I'm not saying that Harbaugh's calling plays. We don't really know the full dynamics of this situation, but he is at least conversating with Monken throughout the game with a play call sheet in front of him, and that started on Saturday night in Green Bay. So something to keep an eye on, and it may have played a pretty large role in how Saturday night went, how successful that offense was, how much they committed to the run game, or maybe it's nothing at all, and he's just kind of there talking through some things. And, you know, the fact that Henry didn't get put in the game, Harbaugh seemed disappointed about it, but he didn't do anything about it in that New England game. He didn't really step up and say anything. He just let Keaton go in and, you know, didn't see Henry for the last 10 minutes of that game. And we got a typical Harbaugh response after where he's like, yeah, I do wish Henry was in the game. Well, you're the head coach. You could say something. I think they're communicating now, which I can't believe it took this long or this many years, but I'm glad that Harbaugh is taking on a, you know, more overseer role, I guess. He is the coach. He is the CEO. He's the boss of these other coordinators and the players. Like, it is important that he is involved if he doesn't like the way something is going. And if that's what this is, I'm all for it. I'm all for whatever gets the Ravens scoring more points and winning more football games. And if that means that Harbaugh's got to take on a little bit of a larger role, then so be it, man. Kyle Hamilton spoke to the media today, and congrats to Kyle Hamilton. He was officially named the team MVP and the media good guy. And I agree, man. There's no better person than Kyle Hamilton to speak to the media, at least this year. Even when times were tough, this guy was up there being transparent, answering anything honestly. He was available. There was a lot of guys that weren't available when times were tough. Kyle Hamilton was standing there in the fire and was a true leader on this team. This is a well-deserved award, and he spoke to the media today, talked about this Ravens-Steelers matchup, the resilience of this team after starting out 1-5 and having the season that they have, and how this is a game that will live in infamy. You got to go out there and make a name for yourself. This is Ravens-Steelers for the playoffs.
Obviously, this week's a little different. Just division opponent, our biggest rival on the road. And I told the DBs and I told the whole defense earlier, like, these are games that live in infamy. Like, you see the clips all the time of Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Polamalu, Big Ben, whoever it may be, and like, this is going to be one of those games. So we need to make sure we're on the right side of history. But to your point, I mean, playoff football has kind of been where we're at since the bye week, to a degree. Obviously, we've lost a couple games since then, but you know, we've been in a win and stay alive situation for a little while. So I think it'll help us going forward and hopefully pass this week.
Kyle, with the understanding that Sunday is the most important thing right now, obviously, a few weeks ago you invoked a handful of Cinderella stories. Do you guys give yourself much grace to think about how far you've come from being 1-5 to now having a chance to make the playoffs and controlling your own destiny?
Yeah. No, I think that's something you kind of got to take a step back after the season's over. Right now, I think we're just in it, putting our head down and working. But, you know, it got bleak there a little bit for a few times throughout the year. And like I said, we just got to make it all for a reason. We worked too hard to put ourselves in this position. And, you know, God's been on our side to give us another shot. And not a lot of 8-8 teams can say they still have a chance in week 18. So we got to make the most of that.
Kyle was also asked about the recent secondary struggles these last few weeks and how they shut the Bengals out 24-0, but New England got them in the second half, especially late in that game. They kind of tore them up with Diggs, and then the Packers went crazy through the air. He was asked about why the struggles are happening and how to turn this around.
I've always said it's a week-to-week league, and just because you did one thing well or one thing bad the next week doesn't mean that's just going to naturally carry over. Or last week is going to naturally carry over into the next week. I think with the Cincinnati game, one, it was a mentality of just like rushing coverage, everybody doing their job together. And I think that's something that we preach all the time, but fall short of doing it sometimes. And, you know, that's kind of the game that we play on defense. You know, offenses in this league have evolved so much to where shutouts are very rare. I think it was our first shutout since, one of y'all probably know, 2019 maybe? it was a good time ago. I haven't been a part of a shutout since I've been here. So to have that happen, obviously you got to get off the field on 4th downs and stuff and plus territory like we did in Cincinnati. But I think throughout the game, you just got to have good rush with good coverage, and it's complementary football that we haven't done such a good job as in the past couple weeks. So, but you know, just as it's gone bad, it can go good too. So we got another opportunity to go prove that.
We also heard from Mark Andrews today, who spoke about this Ravens-Steelers matchup and how good this offense is running the football right now. Starting up front with this offensive line, the tight ends blocking, Derrick Henry, this run game is going, and how they need to continue to build off of that moving forward.
I do. I think that we did a lot of great things, you know, and you know, when the guys up front are playing the way they did, it was really incredible watching that film and seeing what they were doing. And obviously Derrick getting downhill and everybody just fighting their butts off. Really the energy all around on offense was top notch. And I just think for us building on that, continue to be efficient and focusing on our jobs will you know, carry us through.
Taking a look at the Steelers injury report from today, TJ Watt was officially a limited participant in practice, as well as their guard Isaac Shumalo, linebacker Malik Harrison, cornerback James Pierre, cornerback Brandon Eccles, wide receiver Calvin Austin, all limited participants today. We heard from Mike Tomlin a few days ago, and he said that TJ Watt will not play if he doesn't get in a full week of practice. Now, I think they're going to ramp him up and see if he's okay to go. You know, I would not be shocked if TJ Watt is out there, but he's still practicing in a limited fashion, same as last week. So it's not like he just returned to practice. He was practicing last week too in a limited capacity, and Mike Tomlin said that he wants him to get in full practices. But Mike Tomlin also said earlier this week that he's more optimistic than he has been that TJ Watt will be able to go, and that they are just going to ramp him up and see how that goes. So I think that's a truly unknown situation right now, but he's still not getting in a full practice. We'll see how the rest of the week progresses. I said this in Monday's video. I would not be shocked if TJ Watt is out there. I mean, this game means everything, but I also understand the Steelers being very cautious with him coming off such a serious injury with that lung contusion. So definitely one to monitor. We're not getting a lot of information today. If he was a full participant today, I'm pretty confident we would say that TJ Watt's going to be out there on Sunday. But the fact that he's still participating in a limited fashion, I don't know. I think it's still truly in question. And no surprise here at all, but I just wanted to congratulate Derrick Henry for officially getting AFC Offensive Player of the Week. He went absolutely crazy last week. 36 carries, 216 rushing yards, averaging 6 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns. Well-deserved, Derrick Henry. That's it from today, guys. Happy New Year to everybody. If you're going out tonight, be super safe, and we got the best way possible to end this new year with Lamar Jackson returning to practice, and he is going to be out there. Week 18 matchup for the AFC North Sunday night in Pittsburgh. I cannot wait for this game, man. I might live stream the game, honestly. I've never live streamed a game in my life, but I kind of just want to be there with you guys and share that energy. So let me know if you guys be interested in that, if you'd come through, or maybe you're going in other channels and you wouldn't even care, and then I'll just do the normal post-game episode like I usually do. But if you are interested in that, let me know, man. I could set something up and be there with you guys throughout that game, because this is going to be an absolute showdown, man. I can't wait. But let me know what you guys are thinking about everything. Appreciate you, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the Flock Rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly.